and bright stars through the perilous fight. All the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the stars sprinkle then yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. That's right, this is Michael Voss, the Dragon of the Southern Tier. Happy to be here with you on another episode of No Soundbites Allowed. I'm always happy to be here with you guys. You guys make it all worthwhile. And don't mind me as I'm fixing my sound here and trying to make it just right. But today, we wanted to talk about a few things. Something that I think is interesting, something that which is not getting a lot of attention throughout all of the media out there. And that's the fact that we're talking about vaping. We're going to be talking about why vaping is being treated like firearms, how they're being banned, and how the question is, what's going to be next? Because there is going to be a next. There is going to be something else that's going to get banned just as much or more than firearms or healthcare and now vaping, and the list goes on and on and on. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this. This is going out live on YouTube. This is going out live on Facebook and Periscope and Twitter. So I'm looking forward to hearing the responses from everyone out there, because maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I don't think I am. I think I got it right, that we're going to see this as a major issue. And right now I'm just trying to bring up my Facebook so I can see comments as I go. And I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody with your thoughts on this. But really simple is the fact that vaping is the new firearm ban. It's the new fear. It's the new thing that you're going to be protected from, because government's here. They're going to do something. There's a crisis, because there's always a crisis. And I know it's a crisis because the government has told me it's a crisis. The media has told you it is a crisis. It wasn't a crisis in 2003 when vaping first came onto the scene. It wasn't a crisis as China took over 95% of the market and controls a $7 billion industry. No. It was a crisis because Governor Cuomo, oh, come on. There it is. Because Governor Cuomo has said that it is now a crisis. And we see this and this happens to be an article from the Forbes magazine on September 17th, New York. Here is the first state to ban flavored e-cigarettes. And yeah, New York is the first one. Because and I'm quoting from the article, when a crisis occurs, the options are to do 1, nothing, or 2, something. And that's exactly what Governor Cuomo has done. He has instituted a ban on flavored e-cigarettes. He did something. And you've heard this before, because you hear that whenever you hear about the Second Amendment. We must do something. Something has to be done. Go out there, government, and do something. The big thing is, what are we saying is something? What is the thing that we're asking the government to do? We're giving them carte blanche to do anything. Just as long as that politician can stand up and say, look what I did, and we're saying that's a good thing, that's their job. Because I don't think it is. And I don't think it's productive. Okay? Think about this for a second. We're saying that right now we have to ban e-cigarettes, that this is a crisis. It's terrible. It's one of the worst things that could be possibly happening to the nation. And when you say that, you have to put that into context. Put that into some kind of context. There have been, in total, about 7 people as of today, 7 people who have been apparently killed by vaping. We don't know for sure because no one knows what the cause is. The CDC is looking into this. There are 380 cases. Now, mind you, it was reported as 450 cases in 33 states. That's not true. We know that's not true because the CDC has come out and said it is actually 380. And I'm waiting for my bloody computer to catch up to me so that I can show you what I'm talking about here. But there's supposedly 380 cases, possibly, of which 7 people have died. And this is a crisis across our nation of 330 million people on a product that has been around for 13 years. 13 years. This is not new. And we're wondering now that as our government tells us, and I'm waiting for this, I apologize, my computer is really going slow. I need a new one. Please, if you want to donate, help out so I can get a better computer. But what we know for sure is that 7 people have died. It seems that they all used vaping and they all had lung conditions. None of them apparently have been minors. They have been 18 and above. At least one person has been 18. The others are 50, 70, 40, 35, a lot of different ages. They're not teens. One has been a teen. So apparently in America, if you have one person who is affected by something, this can be a crisis for everyone in their group. So one teen means that it's a crisis for all teens in America. And because it is one teen who has been affected, and all teens in America are therefore subject to this same crisis, therefore we must take action against everyone in every age group. Think about that for a second. One person is affected, so everyone in their group must be treated the same. That's identity politics. That's the identity politics of the far left, where if one person is affected, well, everyone must be. If one person is in a group, then everyone in that group is the same. Okay? And now I think my computer's working. So there we have the article from the Daily News noting that the feds say 6 have died from vaping and hundreds more have lung disease. And that's when it was being confirmed or reported that some 450 individuals in 33 states were in there. And again, to my point, one of them was a student who was 18. The other people, if you look at the news and the stories, show that these are individuals who are 30, 40, 50 years old, 65 years old. Looking at another article from Forbes on this, the teen vaping crisis. Here is the latest from Bloomberg and the FDA, which was written on September 13th of 2019. This is a crisis. This is a crisis because we're seeing the youth go out there and use drugs. Now, something that's important to note here, and something that I want to bring up that I think is very important, as I said, this is something that's been going on for 13 years. There are 11 million people approximately who use e-cigarettes. You don't have to believe me, believe Reuters. Almost 1 in 20 U.S. adults now use e-cigarettes. 1 in 20 adults, 11 million people. More than half of them are under 35, but that means they're older than 18. Okay? Now that's an important number. Let me try and put this in context here. We are telling grown adults that they do not have a choice to use a product because certain politicians and certain political organizations, certain people believe that you shouldn't have it. That you shouldn't have it. Now, I want to put this in context a little bit because when you're saying, well, Mike, you got to understand, people are dying. This is an outbreak. This is horrendous. We can't let 7 people, 380 people, let's assume it's all 380 people will die because of vaping. Well, that's too many people. How could we possibly allow that to happen? Did you know that right now in America, there are, in terms of drunk driving, how many people die in drunk driving every year? Do you know the number? Because I think most people would be amazed by what we can see. And what we can see is, according to the CDC, 29 people in the United States die in a motor vehicle crash that involves alcohol every day. That's from the CDC. Okay? That's the Center for Disease Control. We know that over 10,497 people die in alcohol-impaired crashes in 2016. We know that there are more than 1 million drivers who are arrested for drunk driving in 2016. We know that there's an increase of 13% of the number of people who are driving while impaired due to marijuana in the United States. We know that 25% that people who are driving while high on marijuana are 25% more likely to be involved in a crash than other drivers. These are the facts. And if we are so worried about 380 people, why aren't we terrified for all the people in the nation who drive? Shouldn't we ban cars? Because that's what we're doing with e-cigarettes. We're banning them. You can't have them because, oh my God, 380 people might die. Over 10,000 people died in just 2016 over that. So where's the ban on cars? Oh, Mike, that's silly. Why is it silly? It's something that someone doesn't like. It's affecting people. It's affecting classes of people. Teen drivers especially are highest of the list. You know, maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. Maybe you're saying to yourself, well, Mike, that's not the same thing. We shouldn't have to worry about that. It's not a crisis. Drunk driving, driving while high, that's not a crisis. So we don't have to ban that. We don't have to deny people their right to be able, actually their privilege to drive, because it is not a right, it's a privilege. So we don't have to deny people their privilege of driving just because some people abuse it. Just because some people misuse that. Okay, I'll go with that. How about this? Let me ask you. What about bubonic